case study 2. We are Group I, and we chose case 1, the River Community Hospital, and we're assessing the hospital for performance with KPIs.
And I am Daniel Ranke.
I'm Jace Crowley.
I'm Alec Jubilee.
And I'm Charlie Morrison.
So for a little background on the River Community Hospital, it is a 210-bed small non-for-profit hospital that is competing against 3 other hospitals, one of which is a for-profit hospital, which was recently purchased by a larger for-profit chain. And surrounding managers are currently anxious because the chain is well known to increase market share, and as a result of this, they need to find a way to get more return on equity and increase revenue.
Some of the key problems are that they must provide 2 dashboards to focus on key performance indicators. They have to give recommendations for the hospital to improve financial and operational performance, 1 dashboard featuring financial ratios, and 1 other dashboard featuring operational ratios, increase return on equity, and they have to limit the time spent on hospital's financial condition and board meetings.
So the 5 key performance indicators for financial performance that we chose are total margin, and we saw a decrease of 2.27% in from 2011 to 2012, but then they stabilized a bit and increased 0.27% in 2013. We also chose days cash on hand, and they have decreased dramatically from 2011 to 2012, 1.21 days, and in 2012 to 2013, 34.15 days. We also chose average payment period, which has increased 17.66 in 2011 to 2012, but then it decreased by 2.53. The return on equity decreased 2.45%, but it also stabilized a little bit and increased 0.57%. And we also chose days in patient accounts receivable, and that increased 12.48 and 10.51 the following year.
And for the analysis of the financial data, pretty much the total margin took a slight decline in 2012, but increased in 2013. They're way above average by about 3%. And days cash on hand has decreased considerably in the 2 years by 35.36 days. And this means that they basically need to cut back on spending or increase fundraising, although they are way above average anyway. Average payment period has increased, which goes hand in hand with days cash on hand, and they are above average. Return on equity has increased about 1.88% over the past 2 years, which is a positive trend but needs to keep increasing. And days in patient accounts receivable has decreased by about 16% over the past 2 years, from about 12 days to collect money from patient accounts to about 10 days.
So for the operational performance, we chose the occupancy rate, which has decreased a lot. The average is, so from 2011 to 2012, we saw they had 531, and they decreased to 369 the following year. Net revenue per discharge was $177 in the 2011 to 2012, but it decreased slightly to $169. Liability expense per discharge increase was 8.22 in 2011 to 2012, and it went down 1.26 the following year. And the net revenue per visit has also decreased, $43 in 2011 to 2012, and $26 in 2012 to 2013. And the Medicare revenue percentage increased that first year, and the following year it has decreased by 2.42%.
And so, based on these stats, we noticed that the occupancy rate decreased 31%, so the beds aren't being utilized as much to their full potential. There wasn't much change for the net revenue per discharge, just a small decrease of 5%, so nothing too crazy. For liability expense per discharge, it went down by 85%, so it didn't increase as much as it did from the years previous. Net revenue per visit, net revenue went down by 40%, which makes sense from the decreased occupancy rate. And also there is a substantial decrease in the amount of Medicare patients by a whopping 128%. And so our recommendations to the board and to all the other employees at the hospital is to get back those Medicare patients that we lost from the previous years, and from the financial slides, increase those payment periods so we can pay those expenses faster and have some more cash on hand. If there is no increase in patients, we got to find a way to increase revenue per discharge to make up for those decrease in occupancy rates. As I said before, increase cash on hand to help pay expenses faster, and a way to do that is to cut back on spending and increase fundraising.
And that's it. We're Group I. Thanks.
Thanks.